Welcome to Advicta and our next installment. This week, we are very excited to be interviewing Harlequins England legend, Chris Robshaw. Chris, thank you for joining us. Tell me about how you got into rugby and at what point did you have the realization that you could make a career out of it?
Yeah, nice to see you, Steve. Myself, I've been playing rugby since I can remember. Since I was a little kid, it was something I always wanted to do and always wanted to get involved with. I was actually very dyslexic, very shy kid, and for me, rugby became my escape. It's a place I gained confidence with, and it was hugely beneficial for me. In terms of going to that kind of next level, I played all the way through school at various levels, and I got picked up by Harlequins, luckily, when I was about 17. And used to go there and kind of the holidays, they would give you the odd weights program, all this kind of stuff. And then as soon as I left school, I joined a full-time academy there. And luckily I've been there ever since. But I think even in doing that, you have huge ups and downs. I remember kind of my first 4 years. My first year I broke my foot twice. Second year I broke my leg. Third year I did all my knee ligaments. The fourth year I broke my hand. And you're starting to think, kind of, is this game for me? Am I kind of cut out for this? I remember actually speaking to my mum, and she was like, "Well, have you tried drinking more milk?" In kind of a typical kind of motherly advice. I was like, "I'll give it a go, mum, but I'm not sure." But yeah, look, with anything, and especially starting a career path quite young, you go through huge highs and lows, and it's about having that kind of mental resilience as well. But also, you need the people around you to help you really grow as well.
As a former Harlequin myself, I thought your victory in the Premiership final in 2011, 2012 was remarkable and represented a huge turnaround in the club's fortunes following the Bloodgate scandal. As the club captain, how did you, the senior players and management, go about reshaping the club? What aspects of leadership were critical in bringing about change?
Yeah, I mean, look, Bloodgate was probably one of the toughest and darkest bits in the club history. I wasn't captain at the time. I was a young player, but I was playing in the game which it occurred, and you can see kind of the backlash about it. We would go to places, you would have people kind of dressed up as Count Dracula on the side, face painted with blood, all that kind of stuff, which a bit of fun and tongue in cheek and all that. But you see the actual fallout of the business side of it from the inside. Unfortunately, people being struck off, people losing jobs. It was a very dark time, and from a rugby point of view, we really struggled because you say these things don't affect you, and you put on a brave facade and all that stuff. But I don't think we won an away game that season and stuff like that. It was a poor. I mean, a year after, sorry, it was a poor season for us, and yeah, it was definitely tough. I think when we kind of started to slowly transform, a guy called Conor O'Shea came in, and manager went on to manage Italy after us. And with him, he brought a real positivity with him. And he was one of these guys where if the glass wasn't half full, he would change the glass. And it was always kind of, this is our mindset, this is how we're going to approach everything. It's positive, it's positive. And as players, you feed on that energy, it's infectious. And that was definitely a massive kind of stage in helping us. It made us kind of fearless again. Whereas I think when you have something like the Bloodgate thing, although you say it's not affecting you, have a bit of that shame. Your confidence isn't quite what it was. No matter what you say internally, you're probably not quite there. And we were definitely that, and we needed someone to come in and almost give us that lift again, that energy again, to go out there and show what we could.
Switching to your international career, I mean, you captained England 43 times. You're second only to Will Carling on the all-time list. Did your leadership style alter as you matured?
Yeah, I think it did. And I think for me, I've always been one of these people who I love going to speak to people at the top of the game, whether it's kind of sport, business. I love reading kind of autobiographies and watching films on people and all that kind of stuff and seeing what you can learn. And I think when you're younger, you are trying things out. You test things. I was captain at Quins as well, and you test things there, and some things work well, and you do them for the rest of your career. And other things you probably get laughed at a room at stuff, and you're like, well, I've kind of tried, but that hasn't worked. I probably won't do that again. And I think as I got older and now captaining the club again and going through the stages with Captain England as well, you become more confident in your ability. And I think also one of the most important things about captaincy, or two actually, I believe leadership is not a thing you can dip in and out of. It's got to be an everyday thing, no matter how you're feeling, no matter what's going on, you have to be the one up there fronting up. And the other important thing is leadership is not an individual thing. Captaincy is not an individual thing. You have good people around you. I look back to my time with England. It could be someone like Dylan Hartley running the forwards, Jeff Parling the lineouts. You've got Owen Farrell, who is tremendously, obviously, captain now, who was always so vocal, so driven, exactly knew what he wanted to do. To Brad Barrett defensively. So you have all these kind of guys, and similar to most people in the workplace, they have kind of sub-coordinates and stuff like that, and then you just kind of overview. But you have to trust these people to make their decisions and put the team in the right way.
What were your greatest challenges you experienced as captain, and what lessons can you take away from that?
Yeah, I think back to the toughest time for me was our decision in the World Cup, which I made against Wales, which didn't work. We ended up losing that game, losing the following week, and unfortunately going out of a home World Cup, and it was tough. It was the toughest time of my career, toughest time of my life in terms of the backlash. But there was a number of people, my wife, so many people reached out to me who really showed that. I remember Sean Fitzpatrick emailed me the following week and just said, look, nothing anyone can do or say is going to make you feel better at this moment. But the sun will come up again. It might not be tomorrow. It might not be next week. It might not even be next month. But it will come up again and you will be okay. And look, sometimes you need time. Sometimes you need time to get over this. And another one, myself and Stuart and all the other captains and coaches went to Buckingham Palace to meet the Queen, which was an incredible honour, of course. But we were hurting. We'd just been knocked out. We had to go show our faces. And as we kind of scurried off, leaving, and Heineken Meyer, the South African coach, just grabbed me by both shoulders and just said, "You're too strong to let this affect you." And I think what these kind of people really showed me is they didn't have to do anything, but they reached out to me. They could see I was hurting. And for me, it's now, don't rely on someone else to take action. If you know someone's struggling, be the one who offers to go for a coffee with them, to go for a bit of food, just have a chat. Don't rely on their partners or their family or their other friends. And I think that's what kind of real leadership showed me. So it's about now trying to implement that as best as I can now.
Lastly, congrats on a wonderful career at Harlequins. And now as you look to the next chapter of your life, what have you got planned?
Yeah, it's I'm not all too sure at the moment. It's one of those things which, as a player, you get to the stage and you don't know. I think I'm looking at the option to go play abroad. My wife and I have always wanted to live and experience different cultures, whether that comes in the terms of somewhere like in America or France or somewhere like that. It's still kind of being worked out at the moment. Of course, the current situation in worldwide has influenced that, so we're just kind of, things are on hold at the moment. If rugby was to be called a day, it's venturing out what is next. And for me, it's about not planning the next 1 year. It's about planning the next 5 years and where do I want to be then. So yeah, it's trying to piece that together. But unfortunately, yeah, I don't have a straight, I'm going here, I'm doing this at the moment. It's still very much up in the air.
Well, Chris, thank you for your time. This was absolutely fascinating, hearing about your background, your experiences, lessons learned, and best of luck for the future.
Absolute pleasure.
Thank you.